All right, welcome back to part 3 of building our forecasting model for quarterback passing yards. If you haven't seen the first 2 parts, I'll make sure to link it up at the top right corner right now. Make sure if you're interested in following along, you like the content, give this video a like, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and let's get right into it. So last time where we left off was we finally got all the data, the stats for Tom Brady in every single game that he's played in so far. What we want to do next is find a way to format this a little bit better so that we don't just have print statements. We want this to be in a format that kind of looks like something you'd see in Excel. In Python, typically use a library called Pandas. If you recall, we're looping through every single year and every single game, so this output is gigantic and it took about a little over 10 minutes to run. Don't want to waste all that time right now showing how to format, but what we will do is we'll just look at the 2001 season. So what we can do here is just, instead of looping through every year, 0 to 1. Let's see if that fixes it. Okay, so we should be good. And it's printing this URL, so now it's getting a little confusing, but not to worry. So this runs. Is it still running? It's done. So now we should have just all the data from 2001. We're only looking at 1 year data just for the sake of being able to run this quickly. Now typically when you're doing loops, especially with web scraping, one of the most easy ways to make this look into a data frame, it's called in Pandas, is to make what's called a list of dictionaries. So typically I just abbreviated LOD, but you can call it anything you want. So that stands for list of dictionaries, and I'm going to start it off as just an empty list, so it's got nothing in it, and we will iteratively add different things to it. So what we want to do here is create a empty dictionary. So we're going to say D equals just this empty dictionary, and then we'll go through and we're making a list of dictionaries, so this list is eventually going to hold just a bunch of dictionaries. And if you don't know what that means, just Google it real quick. It's really easy. Basically, a dictionary is just anything with a key and a value. So for example, you'll get a hang of it as we go through. So every time you see a print statement here, we are going to create that as a key value pair. So we're going to say D year equals this guy. Right, so now we have this essentially adding to the dictionary. It's saying to the dictionary add the year number, and we'll do the same thing down here, and we'll say D, and we'll copy this whole thing, data stat, and that is going to be equal to the text. So if you haven't seen the last video, make sure to check it out, but this td.getDataStat is printing out the data statistic name. So for example, like pass completions, pass attempts, and then td.text is grabbing the actual data, which is the number there. So by doing this, now we're putting into the dictionary, we're saying put in the dictionary the passing attempts and put the actual number. Put in the passing completion as a name and the actual number. So everything that's getting printed here is just going to get turned into the dictionary. Pretty straightforward. And then at the end here, after this loop runs, we are going to append to the list of dictionaries this updated dictionary. I think actually we're going to want to put this down here as well. And just for sake of completion, we'll say D QD equals. All right. And so what we're going to do at the end of this loop, after everything has run, right here, we're going to say LOD.append dictionary. So what's happening here is this dictionary that's getting created, it's empty, and then it's going to fill up with data, and we're going to put it in our list, and then we're going to have a list of dictionaries. So I'll go ahead and run this and see if it has any errors. So it looks like it worked. Okay, we'll just wait to finish up. So now if I type in LOD, let's see what happens. So now we have this list of dictionaries. So there's one dictionary, here's another dictionary, here's the third one, right? So it has 3 different dictionaries. So now there's this easy command in Python Pandas called pd.dataframe. put in our list of dictionaries, and it's going to automatically make it nice and easy for us. So now we have all of Tom Brady's stats here, and obviously there's some NAs, not a problem. All of Tom Brady's stats from every game in 2001. So what we're going to want to do next is, now that I'm looking at this, I'm seeing that there's no way to distinguish which game is which, right? It doesn't have a date, just has the year. But luckily and pretty conveniently in the links themselves, it does have a list. What we'll do is we'll take this link and we'll find a way to split it. So let's just take a look at this link, for example. Do a little copy and link 1. Right, and so if I want to say link 1.split, so I'm going to split it on that slash, and I'm going to take the very last one. So if I run this, it's just going to split it on these and give me the last thing. Right, so that's that kind of the date. And then what I'm going to want to do also is I want to replace, I might actually split it again on the period and take the first thing. So now we're getting rid of everything else. And then these last 4 numbers are actually irrelevant, right? So it's 2001, and then that's October 21st. So we can take out the last 4 things of this. So we just want to look at everything except for the last 4. Let's see if this works. It might be just 3. Oh no, that's correct, right? That's the date, 2001, 10, 21. And we'll just make sure, so we'll look at a couple examples just to see, to make sure that that number is always the same. So 14, good, 07. So that's the date. So we will go back here, we'll take this, and in the link, so now we're going to say, we're going to also add this, right? So now we have a date number, and we'll put it right here with the year. We'll say, actually here we don't need to put this here. It's actually very inefficient. And we will not print the URL anymore. Great. So now we'll take this pause. I'll take this dictionary and we'll say date, and we'll have that equal to date. And so now I'm going to run it. It's going to take its time to go grab the data, and then it'll have updated list of dictionaries. And let's see, date didn't actually append here, so something's happening here. Date, no. Oh, it's because it's looking at the wrong. It shouldn't be under year. This should be under the box score link. So we actually want to say date num is the box score with all those appendings. And then let's rerun this. So it's going to run, blah, 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 this whole thing. And now when we run this, it should have the date, and it does. And we can format this later, not a big deal. We'll just do a quick manual check to make sure all these look nice, no issues, and that should be fine. So now we have Tom Brady, 2001, the date, and all the stats for him. And so now the next thing what we'll do is, you probably guessed it, instead of just looking at 1 year, we're going to look at every year. So this is going to take a minute to run. So I'll run it, and when it's done, I'll come back. And 3, 2, 1, bang. This is going to take about 10 minutes. So I'll go ahead and do a quick cut, and we'll see you soon. Alright, we're back, and the code is finished running. So it's grabbed everything up to the 2021 season. Let's take a look at the data frame. It's going to be big. It might take a second to load. And you can see now we have games that go all the way a lot. So now we have our big, clean data frame. We have our data frame here, so we're going to call this Brady DF, and we're going to export it as TB12 CSV, and we're going to take out the index. Alright, so now I'm going to run that command. Nothing's going to happen. Now if I open up Finder and sort by date modified, we can see that TB12 is right there. So if I click it, it'll trigger Excel to open. And now we have a data set with all of Tom Brady's stats. So that'll do it for this video. In the next video, what we'll do is we'll go through our code and we'll extrapolate it out so that we can do this same concept of looping through all these links and grab the data for all quarterbacks that we want. Make sure to like and subscribe. Comment below if there's something that you see that we can improve on. And also, if you're interested in getting predictions early for better picks, go open a new tab, type in patreon.com/betterpicks, and subscribe to get all the predictions up to 4 days early than everybody on Instagram. It's a good deal, and it also helps support the page and helps support us to keep us going. So appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching, and until next time, cheers.